Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're going to look at CMG, BABA, Apple, IBB, Ulta, and GoPro. We look at the daily, weekly, monthly charts, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So let's get right into the daily chart of CMG, and what an epic pullback. Ackman announces, boom, straight down, right into resistance up in this area. I would love to have seen it go a little bit higher, but it did never make it, and straight down she goes. We actually did capture the 750 retrace, and we're into this lower trend line here that I have. And that, I believe, that's just big resist or support down in here. And of course, you got the double bottom and all these pivots as well. But it's trying to hold on here for dear life. After this move down, hard to say. We're below the MAs here again. It's in a weak stance. We confirmed below both moving averages. It's ugly, guys. We filled the gap down in here, and it just kept going. Weekly chart. Come on, weekly. Weekly chart, we're down sideways, bearish pattern. We're below the MAs again. It's just ugly. It needs to pop up and get above here, guys, or it needs some news or something, or an upgrade, or Ackman bought more shares or something. But man, if the markets sell off, this thing's going lower. Simple as that. We do have a little bit of resistance at the 400 even number, but if that doesn't hold, it's lights out for this thing. Monthly, it's just ugly. I can't even say anything about it. When we hit the moving averages down in here, filled the gap, I thought for sure we'd get a slight bounce, and it just didn't show anything. So that tells me whoever does not like Ackman, they're taking them to the hole again. Ackman probably bought in here, or maybe bought down in here. I think 45 days he's got to reveal his positions or something. So possibly down in here he might have bought, because we have some little bit of volume down in here. But again, he could have been adding positions as this thing was down here the whole time. So again, it's just weak. Let's see what we could get tomorrow. If we could get above the MAs again, then I would have a different outlook on the stock. But right now, it's just in a weak technical stance. I'm a little more on the bearish side. Let's look at BABA. So BABA had a nice little reversal. We talked about this one on the charts last week. We did a fib here, and actually, let's take this off. You know what? Let's just clear this thing. All right, so let's do this. We're going to take a fib here. We'll bring it up to there. All right, so we went to the 5.0, but we had a nice reversal with some follow-through. Volume sucked, though, so that really doesn't count for nothing. But when they try to break this thing out, it came back in, boom, tried it again, reversal. So you got to keep an eye on that. Light volume, but that tells me all the buyers are already in this thing, and now there's just distribution going on. The smart money's like, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to take my profit. This thing had a nice run. But again, looking back here, we're right into these big pivots right in here. Gap fill, pivot high. You got to expect some selling in here. If it, like I said, if it does get up here into the 109, 110, 111 area, you got a gap fill and a high pivot here too. So if it does happen to move up into this area, take your profits here, guys. I mean, maybe 115, but you got to think, everyone who got stuck in the trade here, they almost at break even. They're just like, you know what, just get me out of this thing. Market sell tomorrow. These are all coming in. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, we did have a topping tail here, but they did close it above there, so that kind of negates it. But I mean, it was barely. So let's see what happens at the end of the week, if we can reverse down, or do the markets catch a bid on the FOMC meeting, and then we do. If we close above this high, which is right around the 105.16, then this thing could possibly move up into the gap fill around 108 and then 110 area, the big even number. But we still have a couple more days to end the week on the close. So until then, hard to say. After this type of run on a stock, I would expect a little bit of a pullback. You had the 750 and the big breakdown bar here. It tried to make a run for it. Now we're coming back in. But again, tomorrow's a wild card with Janet Yellen talking. And she sounds hawkish now, but she's gonna come out and be a little, oh, well, we're waiting on data, stuff like that. I'm sorry, the voices. But Apple, same thing. Earnings, the best phone ever, blah, blah, blah. It goes right into this area. If you come back here, you had the gap fill. You have a couple high pivots. You have the breakdown area here, and you have some good overhead resistance. You also have the 750 retrace where it went right to it. And lately, it's been blasting past the 618, going right into the 750, and that's usually the brick wall at this point. So this was a nice reversal. We did close, but they're trying to hold this bar here. I'd expect if the markets go, we're going to fill this gap, maybe get a bounce. If not, then we're going to this pivot high around 110.21 or so, and then we'll see and wait for pattern to see if that will give us something. Weekly chart, not saying too much. We're going to know on Friday, see if we reverse down or if we actually close above this high around 116.19. Monthly chart, they are trying for the 20 MA, this inside bar. It needs to get over this bar, or I'm still slightly bearish on Apple, right? Here, needs to get over that, or needs to stay closed on a monthly close. But right now it is, so we'll see if this thing comes in, rejects it, or if it just manhandles the 20 MA and stays above it. Only time will tell, people. Only time will tell. But Apple, kind of neutral. If you want to go short, you can add it here, but do a half position. If it moves up into the 120 area, add another one. If you're long, you got to get above this big breakdown bar and this pivot here around 123 before it moves up. If it doesn't even get close to that, we are definitely going down. Let's go into IBB. This one's just on a tear lately, but the monthly chart, that's still talking to us. The daily chart, we're on an up move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost ready to put a put on or write some calls. One or the other. If it gets up into the 300 area, you got to write some calls. That's it. Or maybe buy a one put or two puts, maybe $1,000 position. Don't load the house because it could still go up. Make sure if you do put a position on or buy a put or buy shares or write a call, just make sure you can add more down the road just in case this thing feeds through here and gets a little bit, does a little bit of a push through and then pulls back. Just make sure you always have more. In these markets, a lot of stocks are tending to go past the first level of resistance to the next one, and then it pulls back. It just overruns everything at this point. Whether it's, well, support usually it holds because the henchmen come in and Yellen just pushes the green button. But going short, it's been overshooting a lot of stuff, and then it comes back in. But again, this is an up move, inside bar bullish pattern, trying to make a move. Let's see if we could get up and recapture the 300 area. If not, then I think we're going to reverse down. Looking for a close below the MAs again, like we were doing here. This was looking nice, but then boom, they came right back in. They had a nice retrace, pushed it back up, and that's what we have to work with. Monthly chart though, down sideways. This is still a great bearish pattern. Even if it got up to the 311 area, you gotta short it. Just use the 327 here as a stop out, or you can use a 327 to add more. Do a half position here, half position there. Maybe use this pivot candle 144, or maybe even 350 as a stop out. So take the right size position so you can handle that stop. That's a monthly. Let's go to the Ulta. We haven't looked at this one, or I haven't looked at it in a couple days. But last time I looked at it, it was setting up to possibly move lower. So let's see. Yeah, look at this. Great earnings comes in. One day down, sideways consolidation, bearish manner under the MAs. Sets up again, little bit bearish, sets up again. This is another bearish pattern, and now the 20 MAs curling in the price. We are going to go. I've been talking. Wow, we just missed it the other day at a 228 area. I talked about this over and over since I've been making videos on this fall right here. 228 gap fill, and if the markets start to dump, we're filling the gap. We're going to the 200 moving average. So all you people who buying a dip, and it keeps going down, if all you had to do is watch my videos, and I've been telling you guys, at least start buying here if you're that dedicated to Ulta. If not, gosh, I would buy at this gap down in here around 160. I mean, or at 194 at least. You got too many gaps in here where stocks like to fill them. Just be careful with this one, guys. I mean, look at this. Great reversal, follow through. Now we're below the 20 MA, setting up to go lower on the weekly. I mean, we could possibly go to 205, 204. This breakdown, there's going to be a lot of support in this area with the 50 MA. Then with the daily, we have the 200 MA right around the 211 area. So you got great support there. But on the monthly, like I talked about, we were stretched. Look at this, stretch, and now it's coming in. Finally, I mean, we've been above this 20 MA. 20 MA is at 185.71. So we can easily go to 200. Maybe this trend line into 205. Just be careful. There's a lot of high flyers out there sucking people in, and I guarantee you there's a lot of bag holders up here. They're going to get their butts kicked when this thing's back down to 200 bucks. So if you want to take this thing long, just go small positions, and I would not advise you to do that. Short, it's kind of too late, but let's see how low we can get. 228, like I said, the gap window, that's a big area. We'll see how it reacts with that. Let's go to GoPro. We talked about the support with the moving averages and the trend line, and it did exactly what I said it was going to do. We go into this area. If this does not hold, we're going down. It held. News came out. We went right back in the double top, which we talked about. Boom, right back down. Gosh, and I think, yeah, did we close below the 20 MA too? 1420. Yep, couple cents below the 20 MA. That's ugly. That's an ugly reversal. That's telling me they pushed it up. Everyone bought puts, the big institutional and the smart money. They shorted it up here. They rode it down. They might cover, so you might get a bounce. But I'm telling you, if this area breaks through the trend line, the moving average at 200, 382, we're definitely going to fill this gap right around 1157. Then I think we're going for the $10 even number. Uh, Sorry, guys. It was the sell the news event. Again, weekly chart. We tried to get above the 50 MA. Now we're below. Tomorrow's still a wild card day with the FOMC meeting. If we get a big day up, watch this one be $2 down. That's pretty typical. But if we get a big move up tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of stocks green. They should be holding on. But we're going to have to watch those green stocks really, really closely because we could get a big rally, and some of the key ones aren't really rallying. Just the turds are going because some of these institutional participants, they need to make money. They need to get a good quarterly return to keep their clients on board. So again, we're below the 50 MA. Let's see if we could curl down and attack the 1155, then the $10 number. Monthly chart, still ugly. Down, sideways, inside bar. Just can't catch a bid. Got to get above this 2054 area. If you can't get above there, we're just going to stay chopping around until we get some news like the whatever happened yesterday. And it was a sell the news event. Sorry, guys. All right, that's it for tonight. I'm a little bit beat up today. Markets made a little money today. We shorted, gosh, what did we do today? ISRG. We took, I don't even know. It's been a long day, guys. But anyways, there's some great intraday action today. Made some cash. It's all that matters if you're green at the end of the day. All right, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Hopefully this helps some people with the technical analysis. And let's see what happens tomorrow with Grandma's meeting tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for watching. God bless. See you on the charts.